In this video, I'm going to demonstrate using some of the excellent new features in the 2020 update to the TK7 panel, combo module, and batch module. Now, if you're brand new to the TK panel, you're going to be learning about these new features right along with all the other things that the modules could already do. So if you have the TK7 video guide, make sure to also watch chapters 7 through 16, 25, and the 2019 update overview so you can learn every button and feature. But for now, let's look at the new stuff. Let's start with the batch module. It has one main upgrade, but I find it to be a very useful one. In the input section, there's now an open images option. Previously, you could size, sharpen, and save the current image that you're working on in Photoshop, or you could auto batch an entire folder of images that are not currently open in Photoshop. The new open images option allows you to size, sharpen, and save all the images that you have open. Until now, if you had multiple images open and you wanted to prepare them for something like the web or a slideshow, you had to do that one image at a time. Now you can simply check Open Images, set the folder you want to save to, choose your output options, and then when you click one of these buttons, all the images you have open will be prepped and saved. The Combo and CX modules have several excellent upgrades. And remember that the Combo and CX modules are actually the same module, just in different shapes to give you options in the layout of your Photoshop workspace. So to just keep things simple, I'm going to close the standard Combo module for now, and we'll just look at the CX. Let's just quickly recap some of the things that Tony demos in more detail in his update video. Right-clicking on any button fills it in with a solid color, so you can make certain buttons stand out more if you want. Right-clicking on actions in the TK Actions or User Action menus allow you to color code those so they're easier to find, especially the ones that you maybe use a lot. Customizing the panel with your own actions is now easier than ever, so make sure to watch Tony's video to see how you go about doing that. It's really easy to add your own actions into the user menu now. There's a new instant action button that you can program with that one action that you've made that you use all the time. And if you want any of these buttons to run your own action instead of the normal function, you can even do that and give the button a new name to match. Now let's look at how to use my favorite new functions. Traditionally in Photoshop, if you're working with curves or levels adjustments, you can hold down the Alt or the Option key to get kind of a preview or an overlay of highlight clipping and shadow clipping. But as soon as you release the key, then that preview goes away and you can't really see where the clipping is. The new Live Clipping button toggles on a live clipping preview, so not only can you see where the highlights and shadows are being clipped, even when you're not holding down the key to make the adjustment, but you can also use it to know where and how much to paint on a mask to get rid of that clipping. So for example, I can paint here and make the clipping go away and know when I'm no longer clipping my highlights. And then down here, I can also paint in these areas and know when I'm no longer clipping my shadows through there and maybe through here. And when you're done viewing the clipping preview, you just click the button again and it takes the preview away. The new I Am button toggles between the image view and the mask view. So if you want to view a mask, you can just click this button to toggle back and forth between the image and the mask without needing to hold down the Alt or the Option key and actually click on the mask. The new Apply button is essentially a channels panel right on the Combo module. If you have saved masks in your channels panel, this allows you to access those without actually having to come to the panel itself. When you click on the button, it shows you the list of any of those saved masks that you have. So for example, if I had made an adjustment to the image with curves like this and decided that now I wanted that adjustment to only be applied to the sky, I could just come here because I know that I have a sky mask, and when I click on it, it'll be automatically applied to that layer. And just like the channels panel, if you hold down Control or Command and click on one of those, it'll load that mask as a selection. In the TK menu, you'll find two new actions, one called Paint Contrast and the other one called Soft Pop. The Soft Pop action subtly enhances contrast, saturation, and sharpness to quickly add a bit of pop to any image. For some images, it might look good as a global adjustment, or you might want to increase the fill to make it a stronger adjustment, maybe somewhere in there for this image. And then using a luminosity selection as a stencil, you could then maybe paint it into parts of the image just where you want it. The new paint contrast action is really cool. It allows you to actually paint contrast into an image. So when you run it, you get a blank layer and it asks you to pick a color or a tone. So if you start with just a mid-tone, which is where we are right now, just middle gray, you're just painting in normal contrast to both the highlights and the shadows wherever you paint. But if you pick a bright tone, then you're going to be adding contrast into the highlights. And if you pick a dark tone, you're going to be adding contrast more into the shadows. Another cool thing is that you can actually pick a color, either bright or dark, and then paint contrast and color at the same time. So for example, if I pick, a dark green, one of these colors down in here, now I can paint contrast and add a little bit of green color into those areas where I'm painting that contrast as well. And if I pick a light color, like these guys down here, maybe not quite that saturated though, let's try it over here. And now when I'm painting contrast, I'm also adding a little bit of that color to the contrast as well. So that is a really powerful new adjustment action. So just these updates to the batch and combo modules alone are a significant upgrade. But in the following videos, we're going to explore the Go module, which is more than an update. Like I said, it's basically a completely new panel for making luminosity masks.